That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? You know, for almost as long as I've been alive, the conversation has continued on. When are we going to get the next Back to the Future movie? They are. I mean, remember last year, those reports, they're going to do a Back to the Future 4. Oh, they're saying they're going to do a Back to the Future 4. It's like, that doesn't sound right. And of course, that never came to happen. Then there were a lot of whispers, oh, they're going to do a prequel. They're going to do a prequel. Or they're going to do one set a little bit further in the future. Anyway, the producers of Back to the Future have always kind of been staunch in saying that's not happening. And now, one of the producers has really put their foot down on it and said, yeah, this ain't happening, period. This comes to us from Joe Blow, who wrote, Bob Gale, one of the three primary, of the triumvirate governing all things Back to the Future, who co-wrote the first Back to the Future alongside director Robert Zemeckis before taking sole credit for the rest of the trilogy, is one of many key players who knows that there will never be a Back to the Future 4. Speaking with People, Gale said, I mean, it's like they know in every interview, people say, oh, Bob, when is there going to be a Back to the Future 4? Never. When is there going to be a prequel? Never. When is there going to be a spinoff? Never. It's just fine the way it is. It's not perfect, but as Bob Zemeckis used to say, it's perfect enough. Gale added that it's not just him and Zemeckis that aren't committed to Back to the Future 4. It's also Steven Spielberg, who served as executive producer on the Back to the Future trilogy. If the juggernaut of corporate America and corporate international Michigas, I don't even know that word. Michigas. Oh, yeah. I've never used or heard that word before. Says, if you don't agree to this, we're going to kill your children. All right. Well, no, we don't want our children killed. But Steven Spielberg, of course, he's got to sign off on it too. And Steven, just like Steven won't allow another E.T., he totally respects the fact that we don't want any more Back to the Future. He gets it and always stood behind that. And thank you, Steven. All right. Listen, it's always been kind of known that the main authority that make up the group that governs Back to the Future has always kind of insisted we're not doing it. This is probably the most forceful of it. Especially, this is also the first really forceful assertion that there's never going to be another one since all those rumors started last year that we were going to get another one and all this kind of stuff. So he just comes out and says, okay, Back to the Future 4? Never. Back to the Future prequel? Never. Back to the Future spinoff? Never. So there he goes. There's not going to be another Back to the Future. But I want to ask this question. There may not be another Back to the Future, but will there be a new Back to the Future? Because Bob Gale will not be around forever. The people in charge and who have the veto say on all things Back to the Future will not all be around forever. At some point, they will have estates take over those things, new people that studios can make agreements with. And I still believe at some point, somewhere down the road, there will be, whether it's a reboot, probably more of a reboot, there will be another Back to the Future. I really do believe that at some point in the future. I just believe that this particular continuity of Back to the Future, as far as prequels, sequels, spin-offs, whatever, I do believe Bob Gale when he says that's done. Like that is over, it's done. But at some point, somebody will take another shot. There will be a big enough wheelbarrow of money rolled up to the right house with that go, well, this is what Granddad didn't want another one made, but we do. So, and it'll get done. It will. And you know what? I'm all for it. Because if it sucks, it sucks. We throw it away. Just like we do with all bad movies. We don't talk about it again. And if it's good, it's good. Fantastic. So another one? No. A new one, I still believe there probably will be someday. Anyway, Chris, Bob Gale is reasserting this ain't ever going to happen. Number one, do you believe him and Zemeckis and Spielberg that they won't ever budge on that? Because remember, George Lucas once said there will never be another Indiana Jones film after The Last Crusade, and here we are. And
should there have been?
And then, well, your husband would say there should.
For Crystal Skull, but that one with Phoebe Waller, we both were like, why?
But do you think maybe eventually there could be one? How do you see it?
Eventually, sure. Time is ongoing, and unless we all just absolutely demolish this planet, we're going to have another one of the Back to the Futures. It's going to happen. Everything's cyclical.
Save the planet, save the franchise.
Save the planet, save the franchise. You got to go back in time. All right. So we're eventually going to have this, but I don't think we're going to have this iteration like you were just bringing up. I don't think we're going to have Marty's kids and have Michael J. Fox in the background or something of that nature. I think it'll be a new cast of characters and potentially completely removed from this, where they do their own thing, and it's basically using the premise of it. There's some kind of time travel device. They have to go back and save their family, et cetera, et cetera. I just don't think we're going to have the same kind of beats in there, if you will. It's going to be its own
time
thing.
traveler.
Influencer time travel, of course.
By the
But
way,
all people want.
as a side note, I just want to point out, you guys noticed I wasn't on the show yesterday. My little sister and her husband are visiting us from Canada. So we took them to Universal Studios and we did the VIP tour with them. And part of it was we got this our own private dining experience. And they had, you know, at Universal have got people in character.
Mm-hmm.
They had a Doc Brown who was in our dining room, who had come over and talked to us. That was, I mean, obviously Christopher Lloyd is much older now. My God, guys, this guy was the best Doc Brown, Christopher Lloyd impersonator I had ever seen. He talked just like it was like, and he didn't overdo it. He just came over and had a conversation. It was crazy. It was just, so the timing of this is kind of neat. Anyway, Rob, you hear what Bob Gale is saying. We've heard other filmmakers say we'll never do another one of X franchise, and then it does get done. This one feels more serious to me. Do you think they'll ever go back on this? And if not them, do you think maybe 20 years from now we could get another one? Do you think this one is sealed forever?
Well, first of all, I keep hearing my mother say, "I don't want any more of your Michigas." That's why I should say that. It's still echoing in my mind. But so anyway, if you really think about it, so Back to the Future came out in 1985. In the movie, they go back to 1955. The difference between 1985 and 1955 was pretty drastic in terms of American society.
Right.
Today, if you made a Back to the Future movie, they would go back to 1995.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's pretty wild to think about, but there's not that much difference
And
between
didn't
our...
Hot Tub Time Machine already kind of do that?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that the great thing about Back to the Future is the structure of going back from... I mean, first of all, the screenplay of that film is so tight.
Yes.
It's so everything, you know, the mayor, Goldie, and all the mayor, it is so clever. I don't think... they would focus on the wrong things. You know, they would make it this time travel conundrum, but they would mess it up. The great thing about Back to the Future was its simplicity. And actually, it's small. You're just dealing with one character in his situation who's fighting against his own non-existence. I don't know, and it's so well done. And you have somebody like, I don't think there is somebody like Mike. They cast Ryan Gosling as the star of it or something. I don't think there's even somebody like Michael J. Fox who even exists now.
Which is kind of funny because he wasn't originally cast to play the role.
I know. and it's just a different time. And I think the idea of, I honestly believe they should leave Back to the Future alone. But like you pointed out, Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis, the rights to Back to the Future, because they wrote it. It's been more than 35 years, so it reverts back to them. So they own the screenplay. And if they passed away or somebody wanted to remake it, they could. But I would be very hard-pressed to think that anybody in this day and age could make a movie as effective as Back to the Future was. What you would wind up with is another Total Recall remake with Colin Farrell. And people are looking at me going right now, wait a minute, there was a Total Recall remake with Colin Farrell? Yes, and they never even went to Mars. I mean, that's what you would wind up
Total
with.
Recall Michigas.
You'd wind up with a RoboCop remake. You'd wind up with something, not that they couldn't be good, but they probably wouldn't be very good. And there's other time travel concepts to milk. And the reason Back to the Future has endured for 40 years, it's 40 years old this year, is because it's so good. Leave it alone. But nobody will if they can. If they can make money and strip mine an old IP, sure, they'll do it. But
Well, it's funny because you mentioned the one Arnold Schwarzenegger one. We've got another Arnold Schwarzenegger remake coming out.
Yeah.
That actually looks pretty good with Running Man.
But I think the difference there is that you have a literary property to be adapted. It's
That's
based
true.
on a
Yeah,
book.
that's a really good
so
point.
if Back
Yeah.
to the Future was based on a book, I'd say, okay, you've got the book to go to and you readapt it, which I'm all for. Readapting books in different time periods, I think works. But Back to the Future was such a product of that time and those people at that time that why do it?
All right, guys. question is for you. What do you think about this? Bob Gale, one of the big trinity of those in charge of Back to the Futures, put foot down and said sequels, prequels, spin-offs, no, never going to happen. Do you believe that? And even if you do believe that, I mean, once the rights have passed to somebody else, could it still happen? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.